And when you practice total warfare, that means you leave nothing behind for the enemy to use. And that's what they did in our community. They wiped our community out. They stripped our community of all academia. They stripped our community of all the trade skills. They stripped our community of real education, and they raped us financially. Can I prove it? Give me a few minutes when we start, and I'll try to help you understand.
The brother strong hand. Come on, we can be better than that. Everybody ain't got a hand. Let's give that brother a strong hand. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Greetings to you all. I started an organization called Common Humanity Mission. And I was going to speak about the mandate, the motto, and the mission. The mission is to promote the value of self-worth. The mandate is to cultivate the potential of knowledge that is in us all. And the motto is to communicate with precision, a clearer image to the world through 5.5 channels. 1, understanding. 2, tolerance. 3, temperance/temperament. 4, confidence. And finally, respect.
What was your name, brother? Brother Kevin. Brother Kevin, everybody. Let's give him a strong hand. All right, so each brother, before we get into the segment, unless, brothers, that was suffice for you, your introduction. We all are allowed 15 minutes each. Would you like a 15-minute segment before we actually get into the segments? Or you will get straight into the segments?
I mean, 15 minutes, what's that 15 minutes for?
Whatever you want to share on your expertise.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. And I can do it. I don't know if brother want to do it.
All right, is all right with you, brother? All right. So we're going to do 15-minute segments for each brother and his expertise, concluding with myself, and then we're going to get right into the questions and answers. And we also want you all, our family, to give us feedback and answers to these questions.
Okay. Now, let's just talk with a small conversation with us. Back in 1968, when they had the Kerner Commission, he came up with some conclusions as to why we burnt the cities in the United States down. It wasn't enough that they had just killed one of our leaders, Martin Luther King Jr. They had killed him, and in 1968, I was 13, and trust me, the United States went up in flames. And they said that we were rioting and looting. That's not true. We were engaged in direct retaliatorial behavior. You murdered our man, and we're gonna murder your country. And the greatest weapon we had back then was fire. And we destroyed everything that we could get a match to. Now, in our community, something happened. Right after that, this is what he pointed out. He said, 3 of the major things that caused the problems to ignite those people were: 1, jobs. We didn't have any money, so therefore we had nothing to lose. He said that poor housing. They didn't have anywhere to live. And he said poor education, meaning we didn't qualify to do too much because we didn't have an education. And standing separate and on its own, he said police violence in the black neighborhood is one of the #1 problems. That was like 1968. Where are we at right now today? Same thing. No jobs, poor education, so many of us living on the street, man, that are young people. that are living on the street. You have people living on the street that have a job and go to their job from a tent because they can't afford housing. Same thing. Okay? I don't want to talk about what they did to us that put us in that situation. I want to share something with us that can take us out of that situation. Let's just talk about this neighborhood. How many of y'all know where Eastover Shopping Center is? It's like right around the corner. Go straight, go here, King Avenue, go all the way around to it, hit South Capitol, and then just as you hit the Maryland line, Eastover Shopping Center. Right there is a CVS that is closed, right? A big CVS. It's bigger than Giant. Okay, we want to answer to our solution. Let's take that CVS and let's buy it. Let's put in our pockets and in our bank accounts. Let's buy that CVS. Let's open up our grocery store. We got all of the black farmers crying that they don't have nobody to sell to and ain't nobody buying from them. We're going to buy from the black farmers and we're going to stock that CVS. Well, not the CVS, but that store, and we're going to run it 24 hours. And we don't want nobody else east of the river, especially in Ward 8. We don't want you buying no food from nobody but us. Half of our problems would go away. Because number one, we're not going to sell no chemical-based foods. They was just talking about eating food up here in the women's conference. High blood pressure, diabetes, gout, blindness, everything. Okay, we're not going to serve that kind of stuff. But we can't pull that off unless we get a commitment from the community that they're not going to go to Giant up at the top of Marenborough Hill. They're not going to go, that's the safe way. They're not going to go to their Audis that's up at the top of the hill. They're not going to go to Giant around here in Eastover Shopping Center. All food money coming directly to our store. What is that going to do? That is going to force the little small stores in the neighborhood, it's going to force them out of business because they can't survive because they survive off of the black dollar in the community. And if we remove that dollar from the community, then they got to move out the community. Now, as they move out the community, we'll buy these stores up. Then you'll have a neighborhood store that's going to sell you the same thing that we're running out of let's say, our supermarket. Because our supermarket is going to get larger because now we got 25 stores in the neighborhood that have closed down, that we have closed down by revolutionary action with our dollar, not spending it with them. Now, Lil Mook Mook, Ray Ray, Nunu, and Shalita, they ain't got to hang on the corners no more because they can come and work in the grocery store. We can give them a job. We can give them a salary. Huh? When you go in your supermarket, you'll see Lulu, Ray Ray, Mook Mook. Huh? You'll see all the little bad boys out of your neighborhood, all of the children that you don't like anymore in your neighborhood. Now they work in your grocery store. Now they can get their humanity back. They don't have to rob, kill, and steal in their own neighborhood. Why we don't think like that? We don't think like that because their educational institutions don't teach us to think like that. Their institutions teach us to go get a job and work for them. So no, I'm saying we're going to, after we get our little school, our supermarket together, and we eating good, right? And we done bought the stores in our neighborhood. Okay, why we can't buy one of these schools? Look at all the charter schools around here. There was once one time public schools. Why we can't get a charter school and teach revolutionary action, revolutionary education? Why we don't think like that? Why we arguing with them about their academic institution that they designed to keep us in slavery? It's not by accident what's going on. The system is not broke. The system is doing exactly what they intended for it to do. All you got to do is go and ask George Washington. When he set it up, what did he intend to do? George Washington had more slaves than anybody else in the United States at that time, those 13 colonies. And he didn't want to lose his slaves. Huh? All of them, each one of those founding, somewhere around, out of the first 20 presidents, at least 18 of them were slaveholders under the Constitution, not under the Articles of Federation. Yeah, because before they had the Constitution, they had the Articles of Federation. Yeah, so see, we got to learn liberating thoughts and liberating habits. What was one of the main mistakes that we made when we chased all, and see, in 1968, I was 10. 1970, I was 15. I grew up during the years of revolution, coming right out of that civil rights movement, right into that Black Power movement. I was a part of that. We were taught liberating thoughts. Now, we need the economy in the neighborhood, but we got to watch who we let get it. Because see, I remember clear as day that when we got rid of all of the foreigners, and I mean, I'm talking about all them white people that had all the stores, when we got rid of them, you had a black group of people that came in there and bought those stores.
Yes, sir.
But these was not revolutionary conscious people. These were people that had jobs. These were the people that had, back then, they had high dollar slave economy money. Yeah. And when they bought all of these stores up, they sent all of their children, they sent them to college. Their children came back as doctors and lawyers and entrepreneurs. Their children came back and they didn't want nothing to do with the stores in the neighborhood. Okay, well, we still was in the neighborhood. Their children couldn't come out and play with us. So their children didn't want their grandchildren, their children, to grow up in that type of environment. So what did they start doing? They started selling the stores. They started selling the businesses. And then when we went to them and asked them to sell it to us, I'm going to tell you exactly what some of them said.
Hell no.
No, they said something worse than that. I'd rather see the white man with it before I see you niggas get it.
Oh, no, that's even worse.
That's what they said, and I was one of them that they said it to.
What?
They did not want us to have it. And this is how you get all of the Koreans, all of the Chinese people, you get all of them in our community. And how did they make their money?
By taking it from myself.
You don't know what China White is, do you? China White is some good heroin. I'm talking about you snort some China White or you shoot some China White and you zoom it. That's how they got their money. Right there down Chinatown, they flooded Washington, D.C. with white cocaine. With white heroin. Prior to that, let's keep it clean. Prior to that, heroin was brown. Had Mexican mud, that's what they called it. But soon as the Chinese people got in that neighborhood, the heroin turned white. And that's how they gained control of our community, selling us our own destruction. Yeah. So what am I saying? We have to deal with this. We got hypocrites amongst us. Do you hear me? We got race traitors amongst us. Those are the first ones that we got to deal with. The race traitors, the hypocrites, and the criminals that are in our community. And I ain't talking about Mook Mook and Ray Ray. I'm talking about high dollar crime now. So that has been my small talk. And like, myself, I'm not into a lot of talk. I feed people every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday, we in the street feeding the homeless. Wednesday, we feeding the senior citizens. Every day, it don't change. Saturday, we're running around picking up stuff. Picking up so that we'll have something for the next week to work. Friday, we're doing Islamic education. Sunday and Monday, I take off. I relax my nerves. And that's not working out too good because I always get called on. But this is what we need to do. Let's stop talking about what they did to us. We don't need to hear what they did to us. Let's talk about what we can do for ourselves without dreaming. And we can get that store down there. Thank y'all very much for your time.
Strong man, Brother Imam Ali.
No pressure. I saw you first time. Oh yes. I work in the field of addiction. What I try to get people to do is to confront their difficulties. Because when you confront your difficulties, you change the perception of how you see yourself. And once you change the perception of how you see yourself, you change the perception of how you see yourself in the world. I also realize that there are 4 things that we face every day: problems, questions, issues, and needs. I repeat: problems, questions, issues, and needs. Is it more difficult to confront yourself or live with yourself? If you don't confront yourself, you can't live with yourself. So you must confront yourself. The problem is not the problem, but it's the attitude that you have about the problem is the problem. I repeat, it's the attitude. What is the issue? The issue is you, because we live in a word-oppressive environment. People say sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt. Words do hurt. Words make us who we are. What is the need? The need is for spiritual guidance. Anything that remains in its natural form and natural state is spiritual. What is the answer to the question? It's a question of governance. What we do on a daily basis. Historically, once you destroy the image of how people see themselves, they will communicate that destruction. I repeat, once you destroy the image of how people see themselves, they will communicate that destruction. Historically, what has been the 3 liberating forces for black people or African Americans, whatever you want to go by? 1 is spirituality. Spirituality provides a deep sense of purpose, meaning, and connection to a higher power. Because one thing I realized, without connection, there is no growth. Without connection, there is no growth. It wasn't for your mother and father and my mother and father, when they made that connection, that's why we're here. And when you think about that connection, when a child normally comes out of his mama's womb, head normally comes out first. And when that child is crawling, the head is leading the way. And when that child stands on his own 2 feet, the head is on top. Stay on top of it. Everything is right in our face. But this spiritual liberation, it offers the foundation of inner strength and perseverance. I like to build on 2 things: self-acceptance and self-assurance. For many African Americans, spirituality has been the source of comfort, but also realize when you are uncomfortable, that represents growth. Huh? Many of you women who gave birth to a child, I couldn't imagine that being comfortable. But something was growing in you, huh? So it's all right to be uncomfortable. You don't want to be lulled to sleep. Spirituality, a liberating force. And it gives us hope and resistance against oppression. I think that which is oppressing us is ignorance. And ignorance is the result of hostility, as if there's nothing else to be learned. Ignorance. Notice I ain't saying oppressor. I say ignorance. It's a dangerous thing when the marginalize themselves. That's dangerous. This spiritual liberation that serves both personal refuge and collective force for social change, because I concluded that social stress leads to mental pain, and mental pain leads to physical harm. Yeah. This spiritual liberation for social change. Think about it. When you go to the store and you get somebody your money, you want what back? Your change, don't you? Change is right in our face. So we need this here now. The spiritual liberation that's seen at movements led by leaders who have taken the bull by the horn. And that be you. That be each and every one of us. There is someone that says a chosen people. All those sperm cells and you and I made it. God damn it, we all are chosen. Education as liberation. We know the root word for educate is to bring out that is from within. Dr. Seasmore made it clear. You have to take a very serious look at culture when it becomes destructive. You have to take a serious look at your attitude if it becomes destructive. You got to take a very serious look at your behavior as it becomes destructive. Take a very serious look. Education equip individuals with the knowledge, and let us be clear, let's not confuse knowledge with understanding. Yes. We may have the knowledge, but we don't have the understanding of how to use that knowledge, because that which angers people is the misuse of knowledge. Yes. Yes. So education equipped us with the skills and the thinking to challenge society's systems of inequality. The pursuit of education. This country says the pursuit of happiness. Next, the state, the quality, and the being, even though they were self-indulgent men. They care nothing about you. But now we've come to a point in our lives that we are more concerned about others than we are about ourselves. Huh? Yes. I ain't talking about we're just lip service, because what I've concluded that many of us are implementally challenged. Implementally challenged. Yes, you think on that. We got to work on being better rather than being bitter. We need to continue to move forward in this way. And then the third liberating force. Spirituality is a liberating force. Education is a liberating force. Entrepreneurship as a liberating force. What I did was I consolidated that. That's what's, if you look at history, that has always liberated us. Spirituality, education, and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship forces economic independence and the ability to create and sustain wealth within the communities. For African Americans, entrepreneurship has been a means of escaping economic marginalization, as well as establishing control over our own destinies, because I realize direction may change, but destiny stays the same. Entrepreneurship is a liberation tool. It reflects resilience. Does anybody know that African Americans are known for their resilience? We refuse to accept anything other than the best, because yet the best is yet to come. I say this in closing. May we restore social credibility. May we readdress social diversity. May we replenish social continuity. And may we reclaim social solidarity.
Yes, sir. I hope y'all got y'all notepads out and pens or your smartphones in your notes section, because